Chicago rapper who was gunned down here on one of Chicago's ritziest streets. They say 2 other people were also shot when 4 gunmen, witnesses say, jumped out of cars and fired from just a few feet away.
See, man, that's what I be talking about. Like, they got out, shot this man, they did all that. They didn't think about the innocent people that was around on nothing. I thought he was the only one got hit. I didn't know it was other people who got hit in the process. Now, these people could have lost their life, dog, because of a war that they don't know nothing about. See, people be out there walking the street, chilling, you know what I mean, shopping and stuff like that. Now, you like they said, this is supposed to be downtown Chicago, right? This is probably one of the most quietest places or whatever, rich places or whatever. When I touched down in Chicago, that's where we were at, downtown. Food was great, everything was nice, until we got to the south side of Chicago and Harvey World and all that type of stuff. But yeah, man, like, these people walking around don't know nothing going on, and I guess this dude felt safe going here because they feel like, niggas ain't gonna come to this area and do no damage. But like you say, like they say, dude had a bounty on his head at that type of price. I don't think niggas give a damn. You know what I mean? And I really want to see how these niggas got caught up in this shit. So I don't know if Trapper Ross did one, but I know this is one, kind of put me a little bit in detail, and we gonna see.
It's an act of violence that took place on an August day in the Gold Coast against a Chicago rapper. And then it was promoted and bragged about on social media. And the feds say it was because of that helped them make this case.
And it's me. Think about it. It's me. This is Duck we talking about. One of my ops see me, they ass gonna squeeze. Cause they wanna kill me so fucking bad.
Yo, and didn't he have one on him or something and his gun jammed or something like that, man? I guess cause he had like a long extender or something. Man, when you out there like that, bro, and you in it and you know what I'm saying? Like, and I know Duck knew he was a target. He should have had niggas around him, man, you know what I mean? With artillery too. Shit. Motherfuckers who can carry legally. Like, you got to move strategic, man. This shit become a game of chess after a while. And some niggas may move the board better than you. You know what I mean? You can't just be out there, you know what I mean, lacking like that.
Carlton Weekly was born December 6, 1993 in Chicago, Illinois. Carlton grew up on the south side in an area known as the Low End. Raised in Ida B. Wells to be exact, it was called the Low End because it was the area where all the low-income projects were located. He had a huge family with cousins and relatives all over the east, south, and west side of Chicago. Although this can be a blessing, in a city like this, that means even relatives can become ops depending where they reside. That's how seriously the gang war in Chicago is taken by those who are involved. When he was 3 years old, his father was convicted and sentenced to 24 years behind bars. He would spend his childhood living with his mom and siblings at their grandmother's home on 63rd and St. Lawrence. Sometimes there was as many as 15 people living with her. His grandma was nicknamed the Queen of the Low End because of this, and whenever she relocated, the whole family would follow. With his dad behind bars, Carlton said it made him mature faster and taught him to take responsibility early on. His mom gave him the nickname Chunky Duck as a child because of his size, and it ended up sticking.
I ain't big in that, man. It's enough said, bro. Feel me? Hey, let me get some of this shit, though, man. Let me let this little nigga know how it is.
As Duck turned from a child to a teenager, he took a liking to the street life in Chicago. For someone with such a large family, he had connections with just about everyone. The neighborhood Duck was from would eventually start their own sect called STLEBT, to which he would join. Initially, he and his friends were known for being big potheads who occasionally robbed small-time drug dealers and did home invasions.
God damn.
Before he ever picked up a gun, he was known to be a good fighter, and he was bigger than most kids his age. Duck used to go to Parkway Gardens or Wick City to fight.
Hey, I would believe that, man, that these niggas know how to throw hands too, man, because Ruger came down here and whooped the shit out of this nigga from Cali, man. I was fucking embarrassed because the nigga they picked had no squabbles at all. And Ruger whooped his motherfucking ass with one right hook the whole fight, knocking the shit out of him. So yeah, I don't put it past him. And then King Von be boxing like a motherfucker too.
Was rumored to have never lost. He was that good. Eventually the fighting wouldn't suffice as the war between the BDs and GDs was only getting worse, and Duck was growing up in the middle of it. He would bring a lot of guys from other sets around who would later join STL, and he was becoming a well-known member. Around this time, Duck was becoming really close friends with a guy named Shondale, or Tuka as some know him. In January of 2011, Tuka was shot and killed at a bus stop, which turned Duck's heart cold. He was just with him, and now he was gone.
You know, when you meet a motherfucker and you real close to him, then if y'all click, then y'all click, you feel me? And me and him clicked, like that was one of my real close friends, like every day, like spend the night at his house.
Man, they say Tuka wasn't in the streets like that. Now, y'all know because y'all done seen a lot of these stories, man. Like, cause the way Von and all them did, like the dissing like that, man, they kept that boy name in their mouth a lot. Like, man, did he do something to somebody? Like, what the fuck? Because I see she lost both of her sons.
By now, Duck was fully engulfed in the streets, and he had no intentions of taking any other path in life. While this is happening, a guy named Billionaire Black started coming around STLEBT, and he too became good friends with Duck. Billionaire Black was an aspiring rapper who knew a lot about the industry, and he encouraged Duck to start rapping.
Turn the light
since
on
he had
them
been talking
motherfuckers,
about
shit.
it and freestyling for years. At the time, STLEBT had multiple offsets who were all getting recognition in the Chicago drill scene. As we know it, they often used music as a way to not only talk about the war, but throw disses as well. With some of them even getting nationwide exposure, Duck wanted to become the voice of his set, and that's what he did. He and a few others would form their group, Flyboy Gang, or FBG, because they thought they were the flyest guys in school. It would also later be referred to as the Clout Boys, and Duck sometimes would be called Big Clout, but for the most part, he birthed FBG Duck here.
All these ops steady hate saying what they gon' do. Sneak dissing on these songs, but they never ever
He started recording his first songs and releasing them in early 2011, but he was still heavy in the streets. Duck was still shooting, robbing, beating people up, and selling drugs. He became a huge target after releasing his Duck freestyle on August 11th. The reason this was a big deal was because a man named O.D. Perry from Wick City was just shot to death hours before he dropped the song. This made O-Block furious, and he became a target. Although this may have seemed like negative attention, it jump-started his rap career, as the song gained a few 100,000 plays. He continued to release songs constantly, and his name only got bigger from there. Duck always had a crowd of friends that also rap, and he would put them on throughout his career. He wanted everyone to win. He was slowly becoming the biggest rapper the Gangster Disciples ever had, along with Lil Jojo. But Jojo was murdered in 2012, so Duck made it a point to keep his legacy
dude was,
alive.
man, he
and
was
put on
young.
free GDs.
FBG shit. Turn up. FBG, bitch.
With this type of reputation came a lot of responsibility. Duck was really the breadwinner, and it was up to him to supply his side with guns and resources to make sure everyone around him was good. He was leading the BDK movement, which made him a really big target to O-Block, 600, and other sets who wanted him gone. He was carrying the entire block on his back. Because it's no secret these sets wanted Duck dead, he would have a few near-death experiences throughout his career. In June of 2013, he was shot in his calf, and again shortly after, shot in the ankle. He was even stabbed in the stomach by his ex-girlfriend at one point. This didn't faze him though, and he continued the BDK movement despite both sides losing countless members. Duck was actually known to be a shooter. Although it's not confirmed he's actually killed anyone, he shot and wounded multiple people, including O-Block's T-Roy, who was best friends with King Von. Eventually, Duck's music career was doing so well that he didn't even have enough time to be in the streets as much as before. He was still being blackballed as other rappers didn't want to collab with people like Duck, because if they did, they would probably be cutting ties with all his ops such as Chief Keef, Lil Durk, and the 600 rappers, who were much more mainstream. But he was still making noise and doing big numbers online. In 2017, his life changed forever after seeing his brother and cousin shot dead on the scene. He immediately broke down in tears with his mom and sister. He was angry and really wanted to avenge them, but his mother convinced him to get revenge through his music, not the streets. Duck released the song Slide shortly after, which would become his biggest to date with over 50 million plays. The song is considered one of the biggest drill hits of all time, and really gave Duck the recognition he deserved after almost a decade of music. 21 Savage would hop on the remix and is one of the only mainstream artists to collab with him. After this, he signed a record deal worth around $2 million. He essentially made GD history as he was touching the same
drop
type
the
of
song in
money
the comment. I didn't even hear the
Durk
name.
had. Some have rumored that Duck tried to stop the war, but it's unknown if it's true or not. He did, however, release songs like Chicago Legends in 2019, where he honored legends from both his side and the other side, something that takes a lot of humility to do. Unfortunately, he was already in too deep, and the target on his back too large.
Man.
Do what they want me to do?
On August 4th, 2020, Duck said
That's Chicago Legends. That was pretty dope. But I'm going to go listen to it because I'm starting to understand a little bit of what's going on each side and who was who. So, you know, I think that Chicago Legends kind of give me a breakdown. Now, I know a lot of people say, you know, he was clowning in that. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know if it was a clown, but it sounded like, you know, he was just paying homage to, you know, both sides. You know, in the comments below, let me know, man. I don't know if, you know what I'm saying, was he being sarcastic or was that shit for real?
Set out to the Gold Coast of Chicago, an area that's known for its high-end luxury stores. It was broad daylight, and he was shopping for his son whose birthday was coming up. Duck and his girlfriend were seen by fans inside the store to where he realized he needed to leave before his location was leaked. They went into the Dolce & Gabbana store to avoid conflict and waited. He purchased an expensive shirt and a pair of socks for his son's birthday. And with people recognizing him still, he asked the store clerk if he could leave out the back. The worker told him no due to the
That nigga shit say activate windows. He need to go pay for that, right?
merchandise being in the back of the
Yeah,
store.
shit. Make it look
Given
like
no
it's mine.
choice, after about 10 minutes, they thought it was safe to come out. The Gold Coast was not a place where crime, especially murder, was heard of. As Duck
they
and
was
his girlfriend
waiting.
exited the store, 2 cars pulled up next to him and opened fire. Duck tried to shoot back, but his gun jammed. He fell to
Man.
the street floor where he was shot around 15 times. He would pass away later that night, just 2 days before his dad was set to be free from his 24-year sentence.
Oh, damn.
O-Block celebrated, while STLEBT mourned the loss of Duck. A dozen cop cars
Oh,
parked on
man.
King Drive that night in an attempt to avoid retaliation from the GDs. Posters even went up around the city warning people to stay inside. That's how impactful Duck was in the community.
Damn.
Almost a year later, 5 people were found to take part in his murder, but only 4 were arrested after 1 took his own life. If convicted, they face a minimum of life in prison and the possibility of the death penalty. A lot of people question why Duck wouldn't move out of Chicago after signing his multi-million-dollar deal like
for
the other
real.
rappers did. He answered this by stating too many people in Chicago relied on him for him to get up
fuck
and
that.
leave. But this ultimately cost him his life.
You get it up and get them
There's
niggas
no
out
question
too.
Duck's legacy will live on with his music. And when speaking from legends from Chicago, he deserves to be remembered.
So he stayed and he still made a way. But it was happening. It was finna happen. It
Yeah.
was finna happen. And then he was murdered in broad daylight in the most safest, prestigious place in Chicago.
That's wild, bro. That's wild. Man, like, you look at it like, damn, dog, like 2 days before his pops was getting out, just think his pops was probably like happy as hell. His son getting on, he just got a $2 million deal. Man, he probably gonna take his pops places, do shit with him out of town, and all that shit was cut short because of words and, you know what I'm saying, dissing the dead and shit like that. But I don't know, man. You know, we are biggest enemy, dog. We fight amongst each other before anything. We don't even ride for each other no more. But man, yeah, shit, man. Do me a favor, tap that button. It don't cost you nothing to subscribe to the channel. Abuse the comments, run the likes up, and tap that bell notification. That's gonna keep you in tune with all the latest content I drop. And as you can see, man, we damn near dropping every day. Man, until, you know what I'm saying, until the next one. Yo, do me a favor, man. I don't know I think Trapler Ross got a story on him. I definitely got to check out Trapler Ross. This kind of was broken down to small segments, but I like to, you know what I'm saying, know about the artist, man, but you know what I mean, the whole 9. But I'm gonna catch y'all on the next one, man. Peace.